in this business. And that's actually, sorry, I'm shivering. I got to turn on my car, but that's actually a really cool step to make because, especially as a consultant, each company is going to help grow your tech stack, right? It's going to even help grow your interests. So you might find, hey, pivoting over to become, like a DevSecOps agent is something I'm really interested in. Getting my hands into the cloud and understanding like how that deployment phase works is something I actually want to do because I'm watching the engineers do it. I'm seeing the systems. So that's a cool way to build your tech stack too and go from kind of functional to technical. And then you can go really sysadmin and get all of the, other tech that they need, depending on how you want to do it. A lot of sysadmin, it's such kind of a blanketed term that it can go in so many different ways, right? So the tech stacks can be anything. And it's, if you like doing all of the things, be a BA, be a BSA, right? Because you're going to end up developing, you're going to end up talking to the coders, you're going to end up testing, and you're going to end up talking to the business side too. So there's a lot of ways to pivot, but again, you got to take responsibility and say, okay, hey recruiter, I am coming from a help desk background, but I'm in the process, or I have my SQL certification, or something like that, or I'm doing this infosec training, or I have some type of skew. You got to have some type of flavor, no matter what job you have in IT. I hope that answered. I feel like I'm all
Oh yeah.
over when I'm
I
talking.
mean, and that was
Okay.
absolutely like great advice too. Like I didn't even consider the business support analyst side, right?
Uh,
Um, another part to caveat off of that is um, sometimes you have to move laterally, right? If you're in a help desk job and you're not going up and there's no opportunities there, sometimes it's not bad to go to another help desk job if the technology is different or you get more access to
mhm.
technology, right? So you might be a help desk job where you're doing a traditional help desk, which is desktop support here, but this other company says it's a help desk job, but they have a Meraki stack. So they need
Yeah.
their guy to be able to do both the desktop stuff and the Meraki stuff. So now you're getting the junior network admin. So that just kind of gives you your opportunities to pivot. So yeah, that's
Yes.
definitely a great way to kind of talk about how to strategically plan your career. And maybe if you're not getting the opportunities, maybe it's time to have a come to Jesus moment to think about how should I strategically move from here rather than just trying to shotgun a bunch of applications and hope somebody picks up.
Yep. Yep. And another thing I say is 1 year in IT is 7 years in every other place. It's like dog years, honestly. So while you don't want your resume to be 4 months here, 4 months here, 4 months here, 4 months here, a year here, 2 years here, 3 years here, if I think that's a smart thing to do early on in your career. That's how you build your tech stack and be systematic about how you're building it, how you're growing. Know what the environment you're coming into is going to be to say, okay, I'm adding this to my tech stack. I'm growing into this. They're going to teach me this. I'm going to get trained on that. Like, make sure you're making moves that make sense for your career because it's all about you taking that responsibility to build your tech stack. And that experience is golden. I love saying, hey, this candidate has diverse experience. They've been with diverse companies and with teams of all different, makeups, and they can always thrive. They've done that. It is good to show that you've gotten hired on. So if you have like a 3 month contract and you get hired on, great. I love that to see that too. But then don't stay there for 10 years and then come out of the market thinking you're going to get the same pay that you got there because now in the market you're like 70 years behind. 70. You're you know you yeah, cobalt stuff. So, and now we're on Azure DevOps and Go and AI stuff, right? So yeah, you got to move around, gain your tech stack. Don't let any company keep you so long that you're just stuck and you're just staying in this tech stack. Listen to your company too. If they're innovative and if they move with IT and if they appreciate IT and fund it, potentially you could stay there, especially if they always have different variety of projects, right? And now they're going to be doing this. Now they just bought this license to do this. Continue to grow. If it's a company where you can continue to grow with, do that. But if you can't, jump and find your next place and make sure it makes sense. Stack right.
So yeah, that's those are some great tips. The your best bet on trying to break your way into an IT field is well, one of the best bets is with the company that you're currently with. If they happen to have a role that may be open, that's usually your best bet because you're basically like an internal referral, and which is kind of your golden standard for trying to land a role is to get an internal referral, which I kind of did want to touch on really briefly. Um, some people call it kind of the third door. Like if you're trying to get into the hot club over there, that good IT job, you got the long line of people going through the front door. You've got the side for the VIPs, but if possible, you can try to find that third door. You can go on LinkedIn, reach out to people that happen to be like tech leads or something for if you happen to be like a coder or team leads in whatever field that you're looking at or whatever specialty you're looking at. And maybe reach out on LinkedIn, see if they'd be interested in kind of chatting with you and maybe referring you to
Mm-hmm.
an internal role. Having that internal referral is a pretty good boost. Put you kind of ahead of the long line of people trying to go through the front door with
Mm-hmm.
applications or going through headhunters. Another way, call. You can get a lot further with phone calls than you can with emails or applications sometimes, just to have that personal connection. If you can find someone that's related to the role, either HR or, like I said, a team lead or something, and you find some way to actually to find their office line or something, give them a call. You know,
Mm-hmm.
can't hurt. Well, maybe a little bit. Generally, it's not going to hurt. So look for those third door opportunities if you can find them. Try to avoid the long line of people going through the front door.
Yes.
Other,
Internal hiring is really big. Like you said, internal hiring is really big. And if you got an IT job and you want a bigger IT job, it is a lot cheaper to promote someone than it is to bring someone from the outside and pay market price, right? So there's a science to this. So if you aren't working with your hiring manager, you aren't working with your leadership, just showing interest, you want to move or looking for opportunities, then that's where you should start. If after a year, 2 years, you see that they're not providing any opportunities, or you see they're not giving you any chances to grow, and you've maxed out, it's time to start looking elsewhere, right? But you
Absolutely.
should be utilizing every resource you have available to you, and your biggest resource is your current leadership at your organization. So if you have,
yeah, it doesn't even have to be your leaders.
oh,
It could
absolutely,
be people on some distant team you've never talked to. But if they're in the same
absolutely,
company, it generally is going to put you ahead of applicants that are external. So, yeah, your best bet is internal, but sometimes that's not even available to you. So, like Jason said, maybe, and Gogo said, maybe you have to hop. And if you're not at a senior level, the best way to get a pay raise is to change jobs in IT. There should be no such
Yep.
thing as corporate loyalty or any of that foolishness. Don't take a job hoping to be there for 20 years till you retire or something. Nah. If you aren't changing jobs like every 3 4 years, you probably leaving money on the table.
Yes.
Unless you're at the senior level. I mean, at some point you will cap out. like
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, you can't get too much better than you already are at some point. So, but yeah, if you're well, not entry level, you need to stay solid for the first 2 3 years. Um, don't job hop too much in that
No.
yeah.
because it'd be
If
hard to even find another job if you
man, if
quit.
and if you if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so,
if you got
but
a place
after
where they're taking care of you, man, you got to stay. If you got a place where they're letting you
well, after
grow,
2 years,
well, oh,
if
so
you have
I'll
2 years of
asterisk that.
professional experience, then you're
That's
okay
fine.
to hop
Mhm.
around a little bit.
I'll
Yep.
abstract it with like if you're promoting, right? If you're growing and you're getting skills and you're being promoted from a company that's taking care of you, like that's different, right? I've been
Yeah.
with the same company now for a little bit over 3 years. but I've promoted from within and I've gotten to a completely different role. And that I haven't had that before in my career, right? So it was good to be able to see that they were actually offering opportunities to grow. And some companies are better at that than others. Some companies will say they're about that, but then their teams are so scarce that it would be nice to bring somebody internal and get them up to speed and get them to teach them, but like we don't have time. We need someone who can do the job now because it's me and this other guy, and the other guy left. So I,
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. If you're moving upwards, basically within your same company, I mean, then it's basically a new job, anyways, or at least a different role.
absolutely.
But yeah, if you're staying in the same role more than about 3 years, you probably leaving a bunch of money on the table. I know once I started, once I got past kind of the entry level ish stuff, and I started changing jobs, I would get like $20,000 extra every time I changed jobs. So you
Yep.
know,
It's real life.
don't stagnate.
No, and unfortunately, I feel like help desk y'all get stuck. Not you, Jason, but I find this a lot, and I'm just like, why? I don't get it. Don't stay there. Don't just. And I think it's because of the pressure, and then the corporate loyalty, like you said. Just feeling like I gotta help these guys out. You really get bogged down, and you end up doing so many things, but it's like you're just spinning with so many things. When you look at it from an IT lens, you're not growing up. You're just spinning with the same tech, with the same folks, with the same, volume. So it's always good to pop out and see what's out there. I love when software engineers and stuff like that will say, hey, yeah, I'll say, well, what has you looking on the market? Why are you talking to recruiters? I just want to see what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the market and see where my skills lie. I think that's the smartest thing to do. And I'm gonna tell you, depending on what the recs I see, how you compare to them, what you got to do, if there's any upskilling you got to think about, or if you're just good to go. Let's go. Let's get you moved over here. How much do I got to offer you to move?
My
That's
answer
how
is
you get the more money.
I'm always looking for opportunity. When they ask me that, so,
Yep. Yep.
why are you looking for a job? Well, I always
Yeah.
looking for opportunity.
I love
Um,
that.
so I guess we've hit well, we've gone a bit over our official time. We do have some bonus content for people who wanted to stay. It's not going to be available on Twitch or YouTube, which apparently there was an issue with the connection to Twitch and YouTube, and they just recently joined. Um, if you are interested in the bonus content, you would have to join us on the Zoom. If someone could pop into the chats and put the link for the Zoom in case people did want to join directly. Um, yeah, we do have some bonus content that'll begin shortly. But yeah, for now, questions. What do we have?
Yes. So we do have some questions that we wanted to circle back on that were asked earlier. One of the questions was from someone that asked, what are transitional roles from healthcare administration transition to? And I think they said compliance, data, privacy as a question. Did I ask that in a good way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There. I guess the skill set there is basically about meticulousness, so that would probably point more to a management type of role. I would imagine something like a product owner or a team management sort of role. Um, I mean, if you happen to also be technically brilliant, then of course any of the specializations in IT are wide open for someone transitioning from healthcare. Uh,
Okay. I think someone said health informatics was already
Yeah.
said. So maybe
Absolutely. Can I
okay.
add to
So
that? Throw
yes.
my little thing on there because think about the tech that you're working with. Everybody uses computers. Everybody is moving data from systems. So figure that out. A lot of people in healthcare are using like EHRs. They're using ERPs. You might be interacting with Epic. You might be talking to the C-suite. So a lot of people, when you're coming from a health admin, can easily transition into those BSA roles or BA roles. You're coming from a regulated environment, so that's good. Like if you want to get connected to another regulated environment, they're going to take that FDA, HIPAA, OSHA type, compliance stuff that you're checking against. It all depends where you land in that admin space. That and I know that you have some type of tech that you're working in, or adminning within. If you're doing any reporting, if you're doing any admin in terms of configurations, assigning roles, stuff like that behind the scenes within the systems, I'm calling you an admin. Let's go. Now you're an SAP admin, okay? Now you're an EHR admin. So think about the
Awesome.
tech, and then transitioning is pretty easy through healthcare.
Cool. What
Thank
else you got
you.
for us, Marie? Jason?
All right. Thank you so much for the responses. Good information. Very good information. Okay, the next question is, how important are recommendations from colleagues on LinkedIn? This is more so for Gogo. Unc, we know you successful without LinkedIn, so we're gonna turn it over to Gogo.
It is great for especially entry level. Again, on LinkedIn, I'm looking for real, authentic people. So anything that you can show me that has that endorsements, recommendations, that's great. That shows me that, yeah, you're out here in the market. People want to vouch for you because they believe in you. So for me, those will authenticate you as a real candidate that, has this experience and they're vouching for it. Now, it's not used like as a professional reference. We'll ask you for those, but it does help your case for sure, especially like entry level folks are probably just opening up new LinkedIn profiles. And a red flag for recruiters is a newly created profile. So having that recommendation kind of gives you another step of verification of saying, like, yeah, they're newly created LinkedIn, yes, but they have the recommendations, and now I see you graduated recently. So that's real. I would move, in terms of reaching out.
Awesome. Thank you. Uncle, did you want to add anything? I see your mic.
No.
Okay. All right. This one is a little bit different. So this person asks, for those who have been unemployed for over a year, how are you staying motivated to keep looking? Because it's draining. We've all
Well, you
been
got to
there.
stay employed still. You got to get a part of the gig community. You got to get a volunteer something. If I see a year, I'm gonna say, what have you been doing? And yeah, a part of that is applying for jobs, but you got to still be gainfully doing something. Go volunteer, go get into a course. Um, don't just be stagnant for that year.
Yeah, continue to
Yeah.
definitely upskill yourself, I would say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need to be doing gig work or taking a certification course or something. Um, uh, I know people who have been applying for probably over 2 years, trying to break in. It is tough. There's a lot of gatekeeping at the entry level, especially. But that, like I said, that's what doing that volunteer work or the gig work is for, to give you a resume when corporations won't hire you.
Yep.
So keep that option front of mind.
Absolutely. I think even pivoting outside of tech, for the meantime, is something that I personally had to do. So don't be afraid to have to do a sabbatical to keep yourself employed, but also level up your profile too.
I mean,
Um,
that's fine. Just don't put it on your resume.
right,
Right.
that part.
And it would be smart if it was kind of
A little
in the
turbulent.
vertical of, I can kind of accept that. And um,
Oh,
yeah,
we missed
but
that.
just tell me what you were doing outside of that job too. Oh,
Your connection
can you hear me
dropped
now?
a bit.
Yeah, your connection is really bad at that time. We didn't
I
hear
know.
anything.
Oh, sorry. I'll say coming out of tech, still got to couple it with the course or volunteering and that job to come back in. To say, like, yeah, I had to pop out because of the market. I can understand that the market has been straight shit for the last 2 years. Completely. For IT folks, I felt so bad. Like, people that we really thought, you can go anywhere at any time, no problem. I got .netters on the bench. I got Java people just waiting.
Those are the years
So,
they weren't hiring any black people. So, you
huh? What'd you say?
know.
He said no comment. Moving right along. Were you done with your answer on that, Gogo, before I move on to the next question?
Yeah. I say if you pop out of tech, that's fine. But just couple it with something. You got
Right.
to do something technical on the side. Even if it's a project that you're working on, if you're building a PC, put that on there. Tell me about that as a project.
Yes, absolutely. And as a nonprofit founder myself, volunteer your services to us. We are always looking for some help, okay? All right.
Yes.
Next question that we have is any tips on how to build your job search profiles like Dice? I think you kind of touched on this. Is there anything you would like to add to how to build that, make yourself stand out, et cetera, et cetera?
Um,
Just make like this goes back to those interviews. All those hot technologies that you've heard about or that you keep seeing in job listings, write them down. If you have them, put them in your profile. That's your best bet. Go through hundreds of job listings, see which technologies you keep seeing, see which technologies you are only seeing a little bit, and see if those are modern and maybe have some runway to grow, or if it's just some fad that may die out. And if you estimate that it does have some runway, then maybe it's a skill you should look into developing on your own. But yeah, going through job listings and going to interviews will tell you what people are looking for, and yeah, add all of those to your resume or to your profile.
And keep your profile up to date. Like it's sometimes if it's just a matter of just updating one thing, just keep your profile fresh, right? Because I mean, that's when people are looking for job boards like that helps you get found, right? If you're not updating your skill sets, you're not updating your profile. I mean, when headhunters are looking for you, you're not doing a whole lot to help yourself to be seen, right? So I'm real big on making sure my LinkedIn reflects what my resume says. My profile picture is up to date. I'm putting my experience on there. I'm putting the type of projects I've done, just so that in the event that a role pops up, I have keywords in my things that I've done that would get me considered, right? Um, yeah, so definitely, if you don't already have a complete LinkedIn profile that is fully 100% filled out, that is definitely a place to kind of start there.
Awesome.
yep, I agree. And piggybacking off of Jason and Ankh, actually, when you are what updating your LinkedIn profile means is if you're a project manager and now you're applying to product owner roles, get the product owner slash on your titles. So now when I come to your LinkedIn and it just says project manager because that's what you originally set up your LinkedIn with, I'm like, well, why did you apply to product owner if your titles were just project manager, right? I need the product slash product owner. Now, if you decide to go out there and apply for BSA roles, business systems analyst roles, you got to put that on your LinkedIn as well. That's what updating LinkedIn is to me. Everything that Jason said too, yes. But if you're out there applying for all these different program manager, product manager, project manager, you might be all of those things. Scrum master, you might have done all of those things on your jobs, but you got to show me that. You got to show me that you've held those titles. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah, and then also the job descriptions, study them. Study them. That's study them. Listen, and even if it's not a role you want to move on, just like Unc said, study those job descriptions. If you see agile on a job description and you don't know what that is, if it's never been implemented or you've never heard that word, go study it. Study every little thing on that job description. And if you don't have it, go study it. Figure out how you can gain it if you want it. If this is your ideal role you want to move on, but you don't have half the check marks, don't bypass it. Hold it and figure out how to get those, right? Figure out what it takes. Have I done it already? Are we already using it? Can I actually apply this? Because I have worked in these systems. Put it on your resume.
Love it.
Good feedback. I love this. I hope everybody's getting so much value from this because I know I am. I'm not even in the job search market right now, but I have learned a lot. Okay, moving along to the next question. We didn't really touch on like the recruiter red flags, but someone did ask, what are some recruiting red flags that one might avoid? So we did talk about like the social security that might be needed sometimes. You can give them false information for that. But are there anything else that we need to be more um, informed of
Are you
before?
saying for candidates or what recruiters are looking at?
So the question, I don't want to misinterpret what they said. They just simply said, what are some recruiting red flags?
If I had to guess, I would say periods of time without IT employment. If you've got gaps in your resume, don't do that. Lie. I ain't gonna. Like, just lie. Find a friend who has a church or something. Say you was
It's not a church,
building out their website for those 5 months and whatever. Just lie. Don't have no gaps on your resume. None. Um, I say you was do something. I don't know. Yeah, don't have any gaps on your resume. Aside from that, yeah, if you have to make sure you're hitting the major keywords in the jobs that you're looking to try to land. So make sure you actually know the technologies and you have that listed on your resume. Like if I send out resumes, I've got a whole block of keywords that skills, relevant skills or whatever. It's like 40 of them. So there's no doubt that there's going to be some sort of match if if they're doing filtering, which nowadays apparently they're doing a lot of ATS filtering. So, but we have a recruiter here, so I'll shut up.
Yes, go. Is there anything you would add to that, even on the opposite side? So, what are some recruiting red flags that we, as the person seeking a job, could avoid that are scams? Because it's scam central out here in these
It
streets. So,
is. It is scam central. And so I will always bring it back to my Bible, LinkedIn. Go there. Like I said, vet the people. Go on to their LinkedIn account and go to about, and I think it's like about this profile. And you click on that and it'll tell you when the profile was created. Okay. That should coincide with their recruiting career at the least. So vet your recruiters, do a little behind the scenes, ask them questions, have them authenticate themselves too for you, and if they don't have the time to do that, then they are probably fake or just, aren't even personable enough to probably for you to entertain, because it is a relationship. Like I have serious relationships, not, personal, professional relationships with my candidates. Like I know when they're having babies, I know when they're going from apartment to home, when they're going from bus to car. You know what I'm saying? Like we go through this for years. So establishing a relationship with your recruiter is really important, and it's something that you should trust. Now, of course, everything is just transactional when you really think about the scheme of business. So sometimes you just got to move with the money as well. But vet your recruiters. I hate to be stereotypical, but it is kind of true about the Indian recruiters, unfortunately. Now, I would say don't just nix all of them, because companies like mine, Holstat, the one I work for, it's not my company, but they will use offshore recruiters to do sourcing at night, right? So when we go to sleep, they'll source in the nighttime. So I don't want you to just disregard them, because they're coming from India too. So it's really important to do your research. Do your research on the company that the recruiter is connected to, if you can, and then ask questions. And if you don't like the answers to your questions, that's a sketchy recruiter. I think that's not good. And then also recruiters that just can never get back to you, move on. Stop asking. You know what I mean? Like that's just not the recruiter that you want to work with either. I try to get back to everybody. Sometimes I might circle back like a month later, like, oh crap, I just saw your message. I'm very sorry, but I really do try to get back to everybody eventually. So yeah, let me think.
Yeah.
And then also I think a good recruiter isn't going to have time to call you incessantly. Nobody has time for that. So I'm going to try a couple times. I might give you like 1 or 2 days and then I'm moving on. Somebody that's calling you every hour, every 5, like that's ridiculous. That's definitely a scam.
I don't know about that. So on the other side, job scams are really not worth me worrying about. If they're a scammer, it's fine, whatever. I treat them all as legitimate for the most part. I just don't give that any part of my social to any recruiter until I'm pretty confident that there's a real company and a real offer there. So we had to be pretty deep into the process to get that far. But yeah, I treat all recruiters as if they're legit. I mean, there's really no way to abuse any information that we're giving. It's all about some job that either exists or it doesn't. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to get my resume, but yeah, that's fine. It's already public, and the existence of LinkedIn already suggests most people don't give a damn about publicizing their work history. So whatever.
Hey, I got a
Yeah,
question for you on that. Um, with that being said, have you ever had a time where you did an interview? Because I know as developers it's different, right? Programmers, you build stuff, you craft stuff, and I know I've heard in some interviews where they ask you to do like a show us how you would solve this problem, right? Just to kind of
yeah, that's
vet
going
your
to be
skills.
almost every coder interview.
Right. So I've heard of those, some of those being in a sense of they're just trying to get free labor to solve a problem so that they don't have to pay anyone to do that. Have you experienced that yourself at all, or kind of heard of that at all?
No, what it more the bigger problem used to be. I haven't seen this in a long, long time. But it used to be they used to require a fairly extensive pre-interview like project for you to complete. Like, hey, here's this problem statement. Go build out an application. It's generally a stupid application. Like, this is not something a company is really going to use. But it's just a test. But the test would take 5, 6, 7 hours to build out. Like, Jesus, and you haven't even gotten an interview yet. So this is just to get approved to maybe get an interview if they
Mhm.
like your solution. So that used to be a problem, bigger, more so than them trying to get free labor. I mean, I wouldn't trust something that some random interviewee just designed. I mean, now, I mean, yeah, you could get some decent ideas from that for a real project. Heck, so yeah, like I said, recently I went on a hunt to pick up some new clients. I probably gave them some ideas in one of those meetings with the prospective clients. So yeah, I mean that could potentially happen, but it's not something that they're doing by design. I would think, because like I said, if I was a team lead, I'm not taking the idea from some rando off the street. I'm still not sure about your qualifications yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, I'm not really worried about job scams. As long as you don't give them your social security, they can have your name and your phone number, whatever. Or at least for me, they can have my number. I don't care. I've never
Okay.
really run into scammers.
Can I tell you
So
one
yeah.
that is possible, especially with consulting? And it happens a lot if somebody will see I post a role on LinkedIn. They might come behind me and say, "Hey, I'm with Holstead too. Give me your resume so I can get you connected. And actually, I could probably get you a better rate." So now you're definitely going to go with them. They're going to come in as a third party. I mean, not definitely, but say you do. They're going to come in as a third party now to the organization I'm pitching to pitch your resume. Now, I don't know that's happening. So I'm still moving your resume in process. I'm still getting it over to the hiring managers. If they do that before me and I go through my standard vetting process, now both your resumes are at the hiring manager's hands and you're disqualified.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
not necessarily. I mean, yeah, it's a scam in terms of a lot of people scalp, especially consulting companies. And then your resume will get in the mix of it. So they're scamming on the side of they're trying to get direct access to hiring managers by lying with your
Well,
resume
you definitely
because
don't
they
want
know
to
it's a
multi
perfect.
apply to the exact same job. But for a lot of jobs that are hot, you'll get multiple recruiting firms that have that requisition. And you may see the same job sent to you from different recruiters. Prior to actually to accepting to move forward with any recruiter, then yeah, go with whichever one is offering you the most money. I do that all the time. So I might have started talking about this job with one recruiter and seen that hey, it popped up 6 more times from other recruiters. What's y'all's rate? Before I move forward, take a day or so, and then yeah, go with whoever's offering you the most money, even if it wasn't the first person.
So, hey, I got a
But yeah,
question about that.
after you've actually
Yeah,
locked into a recruiter, then yeah, that's it. You got to go with that one.
I got a question about that. So, Go. When it comes to the pay rate for a job, right? How is that? How do you know you're getting um fair market value, um, especially if you're doing like a temporary contract role, as far as like well, the employer is willing to pay up to X amount of dollars, but how much of that is money that's going to the contracting agency and then not what the client is actually paying versus like when would it make sense to compete against different
Ooh,
agencies for a job?
she gonna give us
Great
the
question.
good secrets.
Yeah. Okay. So your money is never held back in terms of tampered with. The agencies, no, I don't think so. I don't think so because let's just be
No, the
honest.
agencies are gonna try to get the biggest cut that they can. So, I mean,
No, it's
they
all
typically can
negotiated
get around
before.
10 to 20% from what I've seen, 10 to 25% even. But yeah, this is your negotiation ability and your knowledge of the market definitely key when you're, especially when you're dealing with recruiting firms, because they're gonna present their rate to the end target client for whatever. They might be asking $200,000 a year for X person. So that'd be like $100-ish an hour or whatever. And they're gonna try to find a guy who's qualified but will take the lowest rate that they can get them. If they can pay that dude $70 an hour and keep 30, they're gonna do that. So it's up to you really to see what's in the market comparatively. What are the average numbers you're seeing? So, because yeah, you're in a negotiation with the recruiting firm. Their job is to get money, and they get that by paying you as little as you'll accept, as long as
Ouch.
you're actually good at the job.
Disagree.
I feel
I
like
gotta disagree.
I feel like there's a difference between though like going to a consultancy gig where your employer is the consultancy agency, not the employer, and the company outsourcing recruiting to a recruiting company, right? Because I've talked to some recruiters, they're like, yeah, that we've been trying to fill this gig for a long time, but like the hiring manager doesn't want to pay. So, so I mean, their hands are tied, so they can't really offer me anything. But if it's for an agency, I think that's a little bit different because that at that point they are your whoever's signing your paycheck is the recruiter of the contracting agency, right? The actual contracting agency is the employer, not the person they're sending you to, right? Is that about right,
Yeah.
Gogo?
Yeah, I think you're right on that a mindset because like if you are with a consulting agency that has you on the bench, they're they have the ability to bring the contract into fruition that you're going into. So they negotiate your rates. I, as a recruiter, and then even with the rec, right? Whatever requisition I'm working on, those rates were negotiated on long time ago. So if they go into a contract with one company and we say, listen, when we bring somebody in, we're going to get 30 or 40% of their income in terms of the bill rate, right? So you might have a bill rate of $100 and that means that the company is paying the agency 30% every time you work 1 hour, right? And then the other money, 70%, is going to you. That 30% is covering the cost of me, right? Headhunting you. And then also of keeping the lights on within the company. But all of that is negotiated long time before I get in the mix, right? So they're doing that before they can even say, okay, this is the company I'm going to start hiring for. This is a company that's going to become a client for me. Within the MSA, they're saying 40% is our rate. So you need to pay us 40% of whatever rate you're creating. So now the company creates rates called bill rates, right? And that encompasses your pay and then our 40%. So now we get the role, we get the rates. That rate doesn't come up or down on my side, right? I'm going to be offering you the rate that is according to the bill rate. Now, say you come to me and say, hey, I want $50 per hour, but my bill rate is 55, right? This is where it gets gray because I might accept your 50 because you said that's what you want. Okay. Now I get an extra 5 on top of my 40%. So it is important, like Unc said, to know your rate. The conversations when it comes to money, I'm asking you and I want you to tell me first. You might be asking me and you want me to tell you first. It's all about who gives the first number, right? And then we go from there. So I want you to give me your number. What do you
First
think you're
person
worth? If
loses.
you tell me 50, huh?
First person loses, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna go back and forth for a little bit if you get me on the phone. But yeah, that's the game right there. Now, if you come in exactly what the bill rate is, I mean what the rate is that we're offering, then we just move on that. If you want $5 more, I might have to build a business case to get you that. If you want $10 more, I might have to be like, hey, I can't make that happen because I know what the constraints are, you know. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
So yeah, there is going to be variance though with different agencies on what they're allowed to collect on their bill rate versus what they're actually charging the clients. That spread that they're keeping. So yeah, if you're with some firm that is lower than what the other recruiters are offering, then yeah, maybe just go with the higher recruiters. So we are way over time. I think we still have a lot of questions. Do you guys want to set up a follow up, some webinar later this week or something?
Yeah,
Gogo
I
would be
can be
game
here
for
till
that.
9. That's when my daughter gets out of volleyball. So I'm stuck
Oh
here.
no, like a separate webinar on a different day.
Oh, okay. Yes, let's plan for that.
Okay, awesome. So we'll put out some promotion for whatever day we settle on here. Looks like we still have a lot of good questions left. Of course, you're more than free to join us in the Discord and ask your questions. Reach out to me personally, or whoever, or I believe Gogo might be in our Discord now. If so, anybody you see here, definitely feel free to reach out if you have a question. Strike while the iron's hot. I have noticed an uptick, like I said, in the hiring rates and at least in the job lead rates. It used to be like 2022, 2023, I'd get 30 emails a day, 6 recruiters calling me every day. That dried up close end of 20, like November-ish, 2024 up until now. Although now I am starting to see leads again, so definitely strike while the iron's hot. You might, or at least it's lukewarm now. So
So we're
get those
busy.
applications out there. Reach out to recruiters, connect with GoGo. Yeah, just do all the things. Now's the time.
Can we can
Gogo,
we
what you
can we
saying,
clap it
Tina?
up for can we clap it up for having Gogo come on with us? And I mean, I
Yes.
have to say, like, I
Thanks.
literally just kind of on a whim reached out and said, "Hey, you interested in kind of helping our community out? This is what we want to do." And she jumped up and she said she'd love to do it. And I'm really excited that she was able to help out. Phenomenal person, phenomenal work ethic. She's been great. So this hopefully we can have her come over more often and hang out with Black IT Academy and help our community, because that's what we're about, right? We're about informing the community, helping our people out, trying to get people informed, getting you in that next job, figuring out how to career pivot, and really enjoyed having her perspective. There's not really much else I can say about him. He's our resident Unc, right? He's a Black IT Academy resident Unc. Got a lot of wisdom, lot of time in the game. Super knowledgeable,
A lot of
really,
experience.
really
He's a
skilled,
senior
lots of
in the
experience. Been
game.
there, been there, done that. Seen a lot of things in the market, and the longer you're in IT, the longer you see the market, you kind of understand and start seeing the signs and where the ebbs and flows are. So, I mean, just having people like that to reach out to and ask is really huge. Because that's just stuff that you're not going to get unless you're in it for a while. So, um, like I said, once again, Black IT Academy, resident Unc, also a co-founder of Black IT Academy. Um, Thank you guys for all tuning in. Marie, my co-host, she's uh, been super phenomenal, helping me stay on task and following up with questions. Thank you. Special
Before
shout out to you.
folks drop off, I do have that bonus content I'm going to stay a little later for. So We won't
Oh,
wrap completely yet, but that'll be the job hunting, the end of that part until our follow up.
yeah. So yeah, if you want to stick around for a little while, we're gonna stop the recording here and uh, have some information. But for updates for our future session, please tune into our Discord. We'll have information on when the next time we'll do something like this, and hopefully we'll have Miss Gogo available to have those answer your questions. Appreciate you
Thank you
guys.
guys for coming. See you
Thank
guys
you for
next time.
having
Stay
me.
tuned.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much, Gogo.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Bye.
See you later.
All right, bonus content. So we're gonna